This demonstration will show you how you can run a smart state analysis in AWS on an EC2 instance and automatically resolve a vulnerability on the instance with Ansible inside. First, make sure that you have your right credentials. Here you need the RHN credentials for Docker, and then that your AWS credentials are valid as well. For this demo, I'm going to use my instance called scan.me.java. It has a vulnerable Java package in it. As you can see, I did not run any compliance reports yet, as well as I did not scan the instance. Let's go ahead and perform a smart state analysis for that instance in AWS. All smart state tasks can be viewed under the Tasks tab. And you see here now that we're waiting for that actual smart state instance to be started. We can go verify that in the AWS console. So the next step is that that smart state instance is gonna get started by CloudForms. It's once up and running, CloudForms will SSH to it and then run the Docker smart state image. We also automatically create security groups. As I said, it's going to run a Docker image, so it's going to be an atomic host, and also a key pair. That key pair is important. It can also be viewed in CloudForms, and it's important because CloudForms, as soon as it sees that that atomic host is up and running, it's going to go log into that instance and then start the container for scanning. We're also creating two SQS queues which have two message types. So one is request and reply. And if there is a request message, what that actually means is that the application now is going to go take that message and perform a smart state analysis on my host scan.me.java. Once that scan is finished, it's going to extract that reply and then give it back to CloudForms. We also need different roles and policies. So we have EC2, SQS, and S3 full access. And that's really for the instance profile of smart state that it's allowed to communicate with those AWS services. So we see that here, that smart state role is attached to that atomic host smart state. Let's go back and see where we are in the task. And we can refresh the page. We see we're scanning. I'm going to fast forward here a little bit, and we now go to the different steps. So we synchronize the content. Once synchronization is complete, we're processing the VM data, means the RPMs, processes and files, and then the synchronization process and the smart state scan process is complete. If we go now to the instance, we see now all the packages, files and processes which we have available on that specific instance. What we can do now is we can add a compliance policy to that specific instance. So let's say I want to have that Java security policy. And I can go and check now if that instance actually is compliant or not. So in a few seconds, the compliance status is going to turn to red. And what's going to happen in the back end is that it automatically will go and start remediate that issue. And we see that here. So it already started that provisioning, and there is a new request coming in. So to fix the Java issue, it has of course been approved automatically, and that automation is started now. So again, this of course can be all fully automated. I'm showing you this manually just that you understand what's going on in the back end. So here I'm showing you how the policies actually work. I created a Java policy here which has an expression which looks at the specific CVE or the RHSA, and if that's actually the case and found, then a playbook is going to get executed. In this case, we have the fixed Java update, which is just running a playbook which I wrote, which does an update on the specific package, and it runs essentially against that target machine. So because we're only updating one package, we pretty much know that that's not a task which takes very long and should be done by now, which is. So we can go ahead and now scan that image again. So by scanning the image again, we should now capture what's on that specific appliance, and we should see then right away that that instance now has a new state then and is going to be compliant. So I'm going to fast forward here to the scan. Saw the scan before already, and we're also going to go and check now the last known configuration. So because we updated and fixed the issue, we would expect, of course, that now that compliance status is going to turn to green, which is. So let's go verify now what actually happened during that update. We can now go and check the different timestamps and the drift analysis. We see there was a change done 7 minutes later, and we can go check the guest applications to see what exactly was actually changed from a software package perspective. So scrolling down here, we see the Java update, which we did, and we also see the different versions, and that 151 was updated to the 161 version. Important as well, if we talk cloud instances, that labels get automatically synchronized. This is what we see all the way down here. So if you have a label in AWS, it's going to get synchronized with CloudForms. Important is that we don't just see package versions, but you could also look at content of specific files and then have policies running against it. So this concludes the demo of scanning basically instances in AWS, that you see packages, init processes and files, you can run compliance against it, and of course do all that work in AWS.